I want to tell you a story about a Chinese man who came here to be an eye doctor. So, this man grew up as an atheist. He didn't believe in God, he believed in science, as many doctors tend to do. He wanted to study the eyes. He had a fascination with the human eye, with our vision, how the eye is constructed, and when he started his studies, he realized that there are trillions of cells in the eye that must be aligned just so we can have vision. And the more that he studied the eye and the cells in the eye, the more he realized that there was no coincidence that our eyes were formed the way they were so we could have vision. For that many concentrated, specified cells to be in a cluster in the way that they are requires a design. He realized that there had to be a creator because the eyes were designed with a purpose. You could say that there was a vision for them. And I think that's exactly it. Our eyes give us sight, but they also serve to give us vision. Vision carrying our ideas and carrying our beliefs, allowing us to not only see and perceive the world, but to have insight into it. His discovery, his revelation, made him realize that Jesus Christ is the designer. He is the creator. He gave us vision so we can see. Those with ears, let them hear. Those with eyes, let them see. Now, I'm telling you this because whenever you do a deep study into the way that we are in any aspect, you start to find things. The Holy Spirit starts to unravel itself right in front of you if you're willing to notice it. The same thing happened for me for astrology. It's the micro versus the macro. Think about that. So, the stars and the planets, we've been observing, viewing, looking at the stars for thousands of years, at least 4,000 years of recorded history. We have of observing the stars and observing the movement of the planets and observing that when those planets were either visible or invisible, when they were next to one another, that certain things would correspond here on Earth. Astrology was never meant to say that the planets cause things to happen here on Earth. They are a cosmological clock. I often call them God's clock because He gave us a system, a predictable system, in which we can observe, using our sight, the happenings of things outside of the Earth. And because we have the ability to observe these patterns, we can also know when certain things are going to be a certain way, only because of the years and years of observation. So I don't think astrology was ever meant to be divinatory or to replace God's wisdom, as he warns us about numerous times in the Bible. That is why he says, do not go to astrologers, do not listen to them. They are not looking to the wisdom of God. But we have the ability to understand astrology a little bit differently now than the ancients did. And we can understand that they, being the planets, serve as a kind of psychological reflection of who we are and the times that we're born in. So, for me, recognizing that there was so much correspondence, so much coincidence in the predictable movement of the planets and the stars made me realize that the universe that God created for us to be in is so amazingly fine tuned that it had to be by design, that it had to be created. And that is just such a mind-blowing revelation that once you realize there's a designer, you know who that designer is. It can't be anything other than God. So, what do we do with that information? We observe things. We have a vision for things. We learn, we grow, and we see the Holy Spirit in everything because it is in everything. I just wanted to share that because oftentimes there is a conflict between people who study astrology and religious dogma in Christianity, because the Bible does specifically say to, don't fraternize with astrologers, don't listen to them, don't go to them, they are evil. And I would say that, well, I have to study a little bit more of the history, but I know that it's against idolatry. You're not supposed to idolize the planets. You're not supposed to view them as gods. You're supposed to view them as the clock that God gave us to tell cosmological time, and to know that that is a useful tool, like a clock would be, to know how things can be here on Earth. The time that you are born is, you're born with the spirit of the time, or the zeitgeist. There's a line in Esther, I believe it's Esther, that says maybe this is the moment that you were born for, something like that. Because we are all born at a specific time with a specific purpose, with God's will specifically in mind. And we are born when we're born for a very specific purpose and reason. So we look at the clock. What time are we born at? What was going on when we were born? And how might that influence the way that we live our lives? And how might that influence our purpose here? Think of someone like Albert Einstein. He was born the late 1800s. He was born at a time where he could devise his theory of general relativity, something completely unthought of before. And it was a time of burgeoning science. He was a master of the spirit of his times, and he was well liked for it and well hated for it. He's a famous person. He's an example. But we all are born in the spirit of our times, and we all carry a certain expression that unfolds with the spirit of our times. That is what I believe astrology to be and to help us recognize. And that is also how I realized that it all came from our Creator, that it was designed, that it was given to us as a gift. So if you want to think about astrology and Christianity a little bit differently, I hope this gives you some perspective, because embracing both of them has really allowed me to get even closer to God. The first video I made was talking about the fact that I'm an astrologer and a Christian, and being able to fully embrace both of them has brought me closer to God. I can't explain it. All I can say is that I'm grateful, that I feel so blessed, and that I love God, and that I want to share that. So to you astrologers and to you Christians out there, we're not so different. And we are all just looking for meaning, and we're trying to find that meaning through our divinely granted purpose. Thank you.